Akichiwa, this is Brother Redbird. All praises to the Most High, the Divine Creator, Hawa, Higher, Higher. Shalom to everyone. Akichiwa, much love, and bliss to everyone. What's up, Neppy? What's going on? Say you first, huh? Yeah. It's usually Ghost. Pt3 Wastay, my brother Carrie Bay. Was good, was good. Yeah, like I said last night, I'm gonna say this again, mention this again. Yo, shout out to my homie Marcus, the Future Brown, for producing this track. Yeah, he titled this track Meditation. So y'all, you know what I'm saying, vibe out to this track, rock to this track. Man. And big up to the Most High. Yeah, no doubt, Caribbean, no doubt, bro. Yeah. Yo, big up to all who came before us, all the ancestors who came before us. Big up to the Most High, you know what I'm saying? Yo, big up to the so-called African Americans who are really the original mahogany colored people of the land mass known as America. One of the ancient names, Timeri, also known as Turtle Island. You know, shout out to all the indigenous ones on this land. What's going on, Lorraine? Much love, much love. It's cool vibes, man. Word. And something to raise that vibration, you know what I'm saying? Yo, what's good? Light Man Z, what's good, bro? Yeah, thank y'all for checking out the live. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we're gonna get into part 3 of this Guide to Birds, a book written by Donald and Lillian Stokes. This is part 3 to that. Yeah, we're gonna get into this book, you know what I'm saying? Brother Redbird, once again. And yeah, the first bird, because I finished off on page 69 last night, so I'm going to page 70. Everybody's familiar with this bird right here, one of my favorite birds. Yeah, I'm chilling, fam, chilling, but this bird is the blue jay bird, which is a bird that reminds me of the cardinal bird, because it's kind of like a opposite to that bird, you know what I'm saying, to me. You know? Yeah, well, your nappy, yup, blue jay, yeah. It's one of my birds too, man, for real. But yeah, the phenotype of a blue bird, a blue jay rather, is blue above, gray below, a prominent crest, a black collar and necklace, wings and tail are spotted with white. The voice of a blue jay is a harsh J J, literally a J, you know, like Jaay, giving an alarm, a liquid to lull, and a grating, ratchet-like call also imitates the calls of hawks. Yeah, I mentioned that last night too on the last live stream, part 2 last night, because I seen a video on YouTube too with the blue jay actually literally mimicking, I think it was a red-tailed hawk. Because a lot of times when they do this to warn other blue jays of danger from a hawk, because hawks actually eat other birds, birds this size, songbirds, small birds. So just like a hawk would eat a rodent, they'll eat a small bird too, That's a unique thing about the blue jay too, that they can actually mimic hawk calls, because I don't know of any other bird that can do that, as far as the songbird, as far as I know anyway. And the habitat of a blue jay is woods and suburbs. And I have seen them out suburbs before that I walked through. And the nesting is a nest of twigs, bark, and leaves placed in a tree. They usually lay about 5 eggs, which are greenish blue spotted with brown. And this for about 17 to 19 days. Attracting eats a variety of seeds at feeders, including mixed seed, sunflower, and cracked corn. Often fills up its crop with sunflower seeds and goes off to store them in the woods, then returns for more. And they do like a lot of birds do, comes to bird baths for drinking and bathing. A tip about the blue jay is that they run small flocks in fall and winter looking for acorns, which they both eat and store. Okay, this next bird right here is said belted kingfisher. And the kingfisher bird has a large bill, a grayish blue head, back, and wings, a white collar. And the male, it has an all-white belly. The female has a reddish-brown belly band. The voice is a continuous woody rattle, often given in flight. The habitat is near water, such as rivers, lakes, coastal bays. The nesting of a belted kingfisher is a tunnel about 3 to 15 feet long with a chamber at the end, excavated in a vertical bank 1 to 2 feet from the top. They usually lay about 7 eggs, which are white, and they usually do this for about 26 days. The tip about the belted kingfisher is that they often hover over water before diving down to catch a fish. Oh yeah, I like this bird right here. Yeah, I like hummingbird anyway, but this hummingbird is a ruby-throated hummingbird. This is the male ruby-throated hummingbird, and this is the female ruby-throated hummingbird. And it says the male has green upper parts, a red throat, white breast, and belly. The female has a similar, but her throat is white and not red. The voice is sounds include various high-pitched chips and twitterings. The habitat of a ruby-throated hummingbird is wood edges, streams, parks, and gardens. The nesting is a nest of plant down, bud scales, and lichens bound together with spider silk placed on small horizontal limb of tree. They usually lay about 2 eggs, which are white, for 16 days. Attracted to hummingbird feeders that contain a clear sugar solution. Planting hummingbird garden full of flowers with red tubular blossoms. Hummingbirds feed, this is a tip bird, ruby-throated hummingbird. Hummingbirds feed 5 to 8 times per hour and for 60 seconds at a time. They are easy to miss seeing. Yeah, this bird right here is a painted bunting. This bird is all green right here. The female phenotype is a leaf green above, lighter green below, gray, conical bill. The voice is, the call is a short chit, like CHIT. The habitat is brush, clear cuts, rangeland thickets, and mesquite. The nesting is a nest of weed stems, grasses, and leaves placed in low foliage of tree or shrub. Yeah, they usually lay about 5 eggs, which are light bluish white or grayish white with brown spots. And this is usually for 12 to 14 days. Attracting may come to bird feeders for sunflower seed and seed mixes scattered on the ground. Yeah, a lot of birds like sunflower seeds, I see. And the tip about the painted bunting is that painted buntings are secretive birds and often forage on the ground for seeds and insects. Oh yeah, peace of LaSon Lawrence, aka Copper Fox. What's good, Star Strike? Feathers up, bro. Akicha Wild Copper Hot Step. What's going on, fam? Yeah, it was a good live stream earlier too, bro. I've been loving your live streams, man. That's another duck here. This is the wood duck. And the male has a distinctive colorful head, green, white throat, partial neck ring, and a chin strap. The voices of male gives high whistle, female gives distinctive ooeek call in flight. The habitat is wooded swamps and rivers. The nesting is a nest of wood chips down placed in natural tree cavity or birdhouse, over ground or over water. Yeah, they usually lay about 15 eggs, which are dull white, for about a month. And attracting a large birdhouse mounted on a pole a few feet above water can attract these ducks. Yeah, I didn't even know that, but you see the birdhouse hole is usually 3 to 4 inches in diameter and 16 to 18 inches above floor. The floor is usually 10 by 10 inches. The tip about the wood duck is that look for male males gathering together in fall to do courtship displays that include flicking their chins up or to the side and raising wings, talk tails. Yeah, they got different ways to try to get a mate. Let's see. And this is a mallard duck. The male has a green head, yellow bill, chestnut breast, white neck ring, may be hidden. This is a small picture right here, but this, let me try to see if I can see this. It's kind of, yeah, that small box picture, that's one of the female mallard. It says the male does not quack, but gives a short whistle and a drawn out. It's a RHAEB. That's the call, you know. And they use that call is usually a short call when they do that call. And the habitat that mallard ducks are in are lakes, rivers, ocean bays, and parks. The nesting is a nest of reeds and grasses lined with down placed on ground near water. They usually lay about 10 eggs, which are greenish white, for about a month. Attracted to cracked corn scattered on the ground will not come to feeders unless they are near water where ducks normally live. Small ponds may attract them for feeding or nesting. And so a tip about the mallard duck is watch for males doing courtship displays in fall. They include the whistle call and fast swimming with head low. Oh yeah, you're welcome, sis. You're welcome. See, Copper Hot Step says, thanks, bro. Really appreciate that. Really liking the diversity of your content on here too, man. 100. Oh, man, I appreciate that so much, man. Thank you so much for real, bro. There's love there, man. Yeah, try to, you know what I'm saying, be versatile, you know what I'm saying. Keep stuff, interesting, you know what I'm saying, for real. Just doing what I, you know what I'm saying, doing what I can do. Yeah, peace, Origin One. What's going on, bro? Oh, Lorraine said it made you think about the peacock. Oh. Yeah, this bird right here kind of reminds me of I think a pelican or something. Looks like it anyway, but this bird is called a white ibis. Ibis is IBIS. So I never heard of this type of bird before. There's so many different bird species, you know. But it's the picture right here says immature, so this how it look as a baby or whatever. And let's see, the phenotype of a white ibis is large, white, long-legged bird, long, down-curved, reddish bill, and flight white wings show black tips. Their voice is mostly quiet. Alarm call is a nasal honk, honk, honk. Their habitat is salt and freshwater lakes, marshes, swamps, tidal mud flats, shores. The nesting for white ibis or white ibis is a nest in large colonies of thousands, loose nest of sticks and twigs placed in tree or shrub. They usually lay about 5 eggs, which are greenish white with dark marks, for about 23 days. And a tip about the ibis is that ibises fly with their necks out straight, unlike herons and egrets, which keep them bent. There's something interesting about them. This bird right here is little blue heron. And it says immature, but when they're a baby, they're all white with greenish yellow legs. Bill is two-tone blue-gray at the base with a darker tip. The voice is gives a low-pitched R during aggressive encounters. The habitat is swamps, inland marshes, and coastal areas. The nesting for little blue heron is nest colonial. Oh, excuse me. I mean colonially, often with other heron species, nest of sticks and twigs placed in a tree or shrub. They usually lay about 5 eggs, which are pale bluish green, for about 24 days. And the tip about the little blue heron is that this white plumage is kept for 1 year, at which point the bird becomes molted as it changes to the blue-gray adult plumage or plumage. See, this is a great egret. Keisha Wild Ghost, what's going on, fam? Yeah, it was a good live earlier too, Ghost. The great egret is a large all-white heron, long yellow bill. Legs and feet are black. In the breeding season, adults grow long white plumes on their backs. Their call is a deep, rattle-like croak. The habitat is marshes, swamps, seashores, lake margins. The nesting for a great egret is a nest in colonies with other herons, ibises, and cormorants, or singly. Nest is a flimsy platform of sticks, twigs, and reeds placed in tree or shrub. They usually lay about 6 eggs, which are pale bluish green, for about 26 days. And a tip of the great egret is that it feeds in water or on land by walking slowly with head forward and then striking prey. Yeah, man, I mean, a shark in the wood. As far as the getting the prey, you know. Yeah, this bird right here is a chimney swift. So I never heard of this bird before. A chimney swift, the always seen flying, appears all black, has cigar-shaped body and sickle-shaped wings. Its fluttery wing beats are rapid and done with stiffly held wings. The voices calls include a rapidly repeated chitter chitter and a quick series of separate chip calls. The habitat for a chimney swift is rural or urban areas where there are chimneys in which they can nest. The nesting is a nest of twigs held onto the inside of chimney with a sticky substance from the bird's mouth. They lay about 5 eggs, which are white, for about 19 days, attracting. If you have them entering a chimney, do not use the fireplace until the birds have left in late summer. Word. A tip of the chimney swift is that they're usually seen fluttering and soaring over with chimneys as they catch insects. Yeah, I like the name too of that bird too. That's kind of dope though. And this bird right here is a brown-headed cowbird. The male is glossy black body, dark brown head, dark gray conical bill. The voice is a song is a liquid. It says boo, blue, come see. Calls include a high pitch. It's like pss, pss. That's how it look. And a chattering ch 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 ch. The habitat is pastures, wood edges, urban lawns, forest clearings. The nesting for a brown-headed cowbird is a female cowbird lays her eggs in the nest of other species, which then raise her young. The eggs are usually only one per host nest, white with dark marks for about 13 days. See, attracting each seed scattered on the ground. Since cowbirds are parasitic on other birds, most people try to discourage them as at feeders. A tip about the cowbird is usually seen in small groups feeding on grassy areas in summer, seen in large flocks in fall and winter. Y'all, this bird right here, I always liked the name because I think it's another species of this bird too, of the that are actually the same kind of bird but a little similar. But this one is a European starling. I like the starling name. It's just cool sounding. And this is the one in the wintertime. This is one in the summertime right here. The summer, a common city bird, glossy purple-black overall, long yellow bill. Juveniles, which form large flocks in late summer, are brown and gradually change to black. In the winter, their body is a black body, speckled overall with white and gold, black bill. White and gold spots wear off by spring. Shit, that's interesting though. The voices of song is a scream of squeals, squawks, and imitations of other bird calls. See, I ain't know that they can do other bird calls too, so Blue Jay can do that and they can. The habitat is cities and suburbs. The nesting is a nest of feathers and flowers and tree hole, birdhouse, or building crevice. They usually lay about 8 eggs, light blue with dark marks, for about 14 days. Attracting comes to feeders for suet and mixed seed. Starlings and introduced species aggressively compete with native birds for nest holes. A birdhouse entrance hole of 1.5 inch or smaller keeps them out. A tip about the starling is look for starlings perched near building newts or tree holes where they nest. This bird that's called martin. Purple martin. That's the name of this bird. Male is all dark purple with black wings and tail. The female has dull purple back, tail, and wings, a gray chest, whitish belly. The voice call for a purple martin is that's how Cher spells her name, the singer. So it must be Cher, CHER, and given near the nest, song is pairs of notes followed by a grating sound. The habitat is open areas often near water and buildings. Nesting is a nest of mud, sticks, and leaves placed in special bird house. They lay about 6 eggs that are white for about 16 days. Attracting martins in the east nest colonially in apartment-like bird houses. Boxes must be monitored during breeding to be sure that birds are safe and healthy. Okay. And the bird house for them is let me see, the hole has to be 2 by 2 and 1.5 inch in diameter and 1 inch above floor and 6 times 6 inches on the floor. And a tip about the purple martin is that they can be attracted to special bird houses placed in open areas near buildings. Yeah, it's one of my favorite birds right here too, far as just the small birds. This is a red-winged blackbird. The male all black with red shoulder patch, which is boarded by yellow. The shoulder patch can be hidden. The voice is a song is a loud. It says Mr. OKAL So I guess O'Kaylee calls include check and to cert. Habitat is marshes and wet meadows. Nesting is a nest of reeds and grasses attached to standing grass or shrub. They lay about 5 eggs, which are pale greenish blue with dark marks, for about 11 days. Attracting comes to feeders, especially in late summer, and eats seeds scattered on the ground. Favors cracked corn and whole sunflower seed, but also eats other types of mixed seed. So a tip about the red blackbird is that look for males perched atop shrubs or cattails in marshes, singing and spreading their wings. Cool. Lorraine says, I love coming to Indian school. Word. This is a common crackle bird right here. Black on the head, back and belly, yellow eye. Female has shorter tail and less. Yeah, this word is looks like I say a wrist. Let me say a ridence than male. Yeah, the word is IRIDESCENCE. Yeah, I have to look that up too myself. And the voice is or the comic grackle. There's a song is a short series of harsh sounds ending in a squeak like a gride leak. Calls include a chack and cha. The habitat is open areas with some trees, city parks, urban yards, and farmland. The nesting is a nest of grass and mud placed in shrub or tree. They lay about 7 eggs, which are pale greenish brown with dark marks, for about 14 days. Attracting for a common grackle is attracted to sunflower seed and seed mixes scattered on the ground or on trays. And they like to come to bird baths for drinking and bathing like many birds. And a tip about the common bird is that you can often see them near water. The male flies with tail folded lengthwise during breeding. Okay, this next bird is let's see, a boat-tailed grackle, another grackle, but a boat-tailed grackle. The male has large, long tail, all black with bluish green gloss on its head and back. Eye color varies from yellow on mid-Atlantic coast to dark in Florida and on Gulf Coast. Yeah, that's interesting there. The voice is a song is a series of harsh, high-pitched notes like jeeb, jeeb, jeeb. Calls include a chuck and various squeaks. The habitat is salt marshes, parks, and lakes. The nesting for a boat-tailed grackle is a nest of grass and mud on or cow dung lined with finer materials placed in shrub or tree. Eggs pale blue-gray with dark marks for about 15 days. Attracting comes to seed scattered on ground. They also come to bird baths for drinking and bathing. And a tip about the boat-tailed grackle is that look for them perched in plain sight near water or feeding on the ground in parks. Yeah, it's another grackle here. So there's a lot of different types of grackles. It's a great tail grackle. One right here, all the male has large, long tail, all black with purplish gloss purplish gloss on its head and back, bright yellow eye. The voices whistles, hisses, ratchety sounds, and clacks. The habitat is an open land with some trees, parks, and urban areas. The nesting is a nest of grasses and mud or cow dung lined with finer material placed in a shrub or tree. They lay about 4 eggs, which are bluish green with dark marks for about 14 days. Attracting comes to sunflower and seed mixes scattered on the ground. May try to feed at above ground feeders, but usually has trouble holding on to the small perches. And they also come to bird baths for drinking and bathing. And tip about the great-tailed grackle is that nests colonially, sometimes in the thousands, flies to huge roost each night in winter. Of course, I know this bird is right here, a crow, the American crow. Says the familiar, very large all black bird with a large black bill. The voice is very varied types of calls from short to long and descending. The habitat is seen in just about all habitats. Facts. The nesting is a nest of twigs and sticks lined with bark and grass placed in tree. They lay about 5 eggs, which are bluish green with brown marks, for about 18 days. And attracting for the crow is it comes to all kinds of seed that feeders will eat suet if it can get it, and is attracted to food scraps. Yeah, we know. Comes to bird baths just to drink. And in the fall and winter afternoons, crows fly in large numbers to nightly roosts. Yeah, you can always see crows everywhere for real, like in bunches. This bird right here is a double-crested cormorant. See, I never heard of this bird neither. The phenotype, they have a large, long neck and long bill, all black with a broad orange throat pouch beneath its bill. In their first year, young cormorants are dark brown with a light brown throat and belly. The voice is usually quiet away from nesting areas. The habitat is coast, inland rivers, and lakes. The nesting is a platform nest of sticks and seaweed placed in tree or on ground. And they lay about 7 eggs, which are pale blue, for about 29 days. A tip of the double-crested cormorant is that you can look for cormorants perched near water on rocks or dead branches, often holding wings out to dry. Ray says cattail needs to be studied. See this well, I know y'all seen this bird, of course. It's a turkey vulture. They're very large, black with a small featherless red head, trailing half of wings, silvery. When soaring, its wings are held in a V, and they often tilt side to side. Vultures are silent except at the nest, where they may give grunts and hisses. The habitat is open country and dumps, occasionally roost in urban areas. Yep. And nesting is a scrape or on bare ground, in cave, stump, cliff ledge, or old building. They lay about 3 eggs, which are dull white, for about 41 days. And a tip of the turkey vulture is that they are often seen soaring lazily along ridges or over fields, looking for carrion to eat. And they basically eat everything, of course. So Lasan, I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't even know for sure. I might have to research that or something. And some of these birds, I'm just actually now, you know what I'm saying, learning about too myself. I know there's a lot of birds, but it's really a lot of them, you know what I'm saying, since I've been reading about them and studying about them. Okay, this is a woodpecker bird right here, but this is a downy woodpecker. And the female has white spots on black wings, white belly and back, no red on back of head, distinguished from similar hairy woodpecker by bill, which is about half as long as its head. The voice is a high-pitched tweak call, and a call that sounds like a whiny of a miniature horse. Dang. The habitat is woods, farmland, and suburbs. The nesting there excavates a nest cavity in dead wood. They lay about 5 eggs, which are white, for about 21 days. Attracting for the downy woodpecker is especially attracted to suet feeders, but may also feed on hulled sunflower seed. Let's see, the tip of the woodpecker is that you can see hitching up tree trunks or long branches, may drum on resonant surfaces and spring as part of courtships. Yeah, excuse me for a second, y'all. Yeah, I'm back, y'all. Just had to check on something right quick. Yeah, yeah, like I was saying, they can be seen hitching up on tree trunks or long branches, may drum on resonant surfaces and spring as part of courtship. What's good, Kyle? What's going on, fam? Let me see, Lasan. Yeah, hold on, Copper. Lasan says birds are beautiful beings. Yeah, yeah, yes they are. Copper Hot Step says, yeah, agreed. Lasan Lawrence agreed. Birds are amazing creatures of this realm. And let's see, Lasan says, the different colors. Hold on a second. The different colors makes me realize the ancestors were dressed up in feathers. Tell me they were imitating the birds. Yeah, I believe that too. Yeah. Yeah, this is another woodpecker here, but this woodpecker is a hairy woodpecker. Female has white spots on black wings, white belly and back, no red on back of head, distinguished from similar downy woodpecker by its bill, which is almost as long as its head. Calls include a high-pitched tweak and a wiki sound. Habitat: woods, farmland, suburbs. The nesting for a hairy woodpecker is excavates a nest cavity in live wood. They lay about 6 eggs, which are white for about a month. Attracting for a hairy woodpecker is especially attracted to suet feeders, but may also feed on hulled sunflower seed or sunflower chips. And the woodpecker is less common than downy woodpecker, usually seen hitching up tree or trunks or along large branches in older woods. Yeah, so they're a little different from each other. Yeah. Let me see. Lasan says our ancestors were always great observers of everything that nature provides. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think that's why it was so easy for us to play outside when we were younger. You know what I'm saying? We used to just, because me personally, I used to actually, I was playing the superheroes, you know what I'm saying? But like, I used to act like I was Spider-Man back in the day, as a child. But when I was doing it, I used to always do it on a tree, you know what I'm saying? Actually literally climb up a tree, And it's just funny to think how we used to love playing in trees and in the grass and all that. Even when I played football, I used to be in you know what I'm saying, in the grass. See this, let's see. Right here is an eastern kingbird. That's a nice name too. You see, it has black upper parts, white underparts, conspicuous white tip to its black tail. The voices calls included harsh kitter, 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 and a short kit z. Habitat: open areas with some trees or shrubs. And the nesting for eastern kingbird is a messy nest of weed stems, bark, string, and feathers placed on a horizontal branch of tree. Eggs are 3 to 4, white with marks. They do this for like 16 days. Attracting is a few trees planted in the open area may attract a kingbird as both a nesting spot and a perch from which it can fly out to catch insects. You see, kingbirds are very aggressive. You may see them dive, bomb crows or hawks that fly near their nest. Dang, the eastern kingbird go hard, man. Yeah, that's funny for them to, you know what I'm saying, do that to bigger birds too. Yeah, Lasan says, I saw a woodpecker once digging a hole in a tree. That sound was very loud and beautiful. It's like a rhythm. Yeah, I seen that too one time doing the same thing at to the small tree in the yard. Yeah, it was fascinating to see that. Olaray one says a Kichwa. Oh yeah, Kichwa means high in Algonquin. Yeah, actually, how I actually learned about that actual greeting was from Carrie Davis, aka Indigenous One, when I started learning about the indigenous stuff. And when I did learn that at the time, I was studying about, things about the indigenous people and stuff about the ancestors. And one of the few people I was listening to at the time was Yafa Bay and even, some of the Moors too, because I found out some stuff through them too about America, I mean. And also Carrie Davis. And Carrie Davis was one of the main people I, listened to. And I found out about that greeting. I thought that was so cool the way it sounds, too, and what it means. And Lasan says, yeah, so you see, Ron, is not the size that matters, huh? Yeah, facts. Yeah, for real. Yep. Mostly the birds this size be scared of those hawks and stuff, This bird right here is an osprey. You know, thought this was a beautiful bird too. It says it has white head with a white black streak through the eye, dark back, wings, and tail, white underparts. The voice is a loud, down slurred chirp call repeated faster and at a higher pitch as the bird becomes increasingly alarmed. The habitat is large lakes, rivers, and coasts. Nesting is a large nest of sticks placed in tree, on cliff, or on human-made platform. Yeah, they usually lay about 4 eggs, which are whitish with reddish brown blotches. You see this can go on for like 40 to 50 to 56 days, attracting sturdy platforms on very strong, tall poles placed near the coast may attract ospreys to nest. About the osprey is that they hover over water and dive down to catch fish, which they carry off in their talons. And I've seen a bird do that before too. I thought it was a hawk. It could have been, maybe been an osprey, maybe. And I think about it, you know, from it doing that, you know. Kiowa says, crazy how they don't get dizzy with all that drilling. Yeah, I know, right? For real, man. Excuse me. And the thing about the woodpecker when they drilling is like, it's, I mean, real fast, you know, like lightning fast, you know. And see this bird right here is a great black back gull, large gull, black back and wings, white body. The bill is yellow and legs are pink. At an immature state, baby state, they have whitish head contrast with checkered brown and white back and wings. Wide dark band at the tip of tail. Takes 4 years to reach adult plumage. The voice is common call is a low pitch. Calp is COWP, calp. The habitat is coastal in the Great Lakes. The nesting is nest is a mound of seaweed and other vegetation. And then from what it says, seems like the nest all around. And the vegetation is placed on ground or on rock ledge. They lay about 3 eggs, which are olive with darker marks. This is for like 28 days. A tip about the great black bat gull is that they're easily recognized by black bat, often dominates other gulls for food and purchase. So they be deborn basically. And this right here is one of the most phenomenal, you know, great birds. This is considered to be the, you know what I'm saying, the leader of birds. This is the bald eagle, which is one of the most beautiful and most, you know what I'm saying, great birds that we have. This is one of the birds also is seen as a messenger between heaven and earth. One of the birds that are talked about in scriptures in the Bible. Yeah, the bald eagle. The bald eagle has a very large, dark bird, white head and tail. At an immature state, the first 4 years, the head is dark and its tail and underwings are blotched with white. The voice is a high chirps and piercing screams. Yeah, facts. And the habitat is along coast, lakes, and large rivers. Large rivers. Nesting. Nest is a massive platform of sticks and vegetation placed on cliff ledge or in top of large tree. They lay about 3 eggs, which are bluish white, for like 36 days. And a tip of the bald eagles, look for eagles soaring on perched along coasts, rivers, and large lakes. I also heard too from my research that bald eagles can literally fly when the weather. We have thunderstorm weather. When there's a thunderstorm, lightning, and all that, they can literally fly and when they're flying in this, they actually don't have fear or anything. They just fly and they're content. You know what I'm saying? So that's interesting fact about bald eagles. That's real interesting. And that's funny. Let me see. Kyle said it's funny as hell. Girls scraping mafia style gangsters frat, bro. For real. And that's crazy. And Lasan says, Kyle, well, yes, they act like real savages, bro. Laugh out loud. Huh? Oh, Lasan, you said they're bowling in the UK too. That's crazy. And and excuse me, y'all, about that sound. It was I think I was getting a call, but I'll call him back. Lasan says it's beautiful to see the way they position themselves before they fly down to catch the fishes. Yeah, I was watching a bird do that one day. It was either osprey or hawk, but I think it was a hawk though, for real though. You know what I'm saying? I think it was that though. I think it was a hawk, but yeah, it was interesting to see that. Actually, seen the bird grab the fish, waited. You know what I'm saying? Waited a while and went down and grabbed the fish and just just flew quick, went to the nest, wherever the nest was. And when I seen the bird do this, the bird literally flew over my head. So seeing that was like, oh man, that was crazy. And the lake that the bird got the lake that the lake that the bird got the fish out of, the fish are usually like big, because I remember my neighbor fishing in the lake one day and caught a fish that was like, you know what I'm saying, mad long, you know what I'm saying? The song, he said the ones in the Caribbean have a bit more manners. Kyle said they asked for food. Oh man, that's funny. Kyle says, Ron, you ever seen sea diving birds? Yeah, yeah. Like I was just saying, the hawk. Yeah, I seen the hawk do that. And think about it, bro. When he grabbed the fish, it wasn't like he just flew right down. He waited. He was like, what I'm saying, flapping his wings in the air. And he was like, what I'm saying, really calculating it. Because I seen him flapping right. And he didn't go straight down right away. It was like, I knew he had to flap at least like a minute straight. You know what I'm saying? Then he just, when he went down, swooped down, it was like, woof. You know what I'm saying? A real fast swoop. He got him right up. And they, what I'm saying, he caught him with one swoop. The fish was right in his challenge. You know what I'm saying? And I was looking like that. Oh man. Okay, this bird right here is a common loon. Let me see. The common loon is a large water bird of northern lakes, black and white checkered back, black head and bill, black and white barred neck ring. The voice is a drawn out wail, a short, tremulous call, and a long, undulating call. The habitat is summers on lakes where it breeds, winters along the coast. The nesting for a common loon is a platform nest of water vegetation placed on ground on an island or at water's edge. They lay about 2 eggs, which are olive brown, for 29 days and 3 months. Attracting, if you see loons on a lake in summer, be careful not to upset them by running motorboats in the area or getting too near them, for they are sensitive to disturbances. Yeah, it's an interesting right there. And a tip about the loons is that you can watch for loons in the quiet coves of northern lakes and listen for their haunting calls, often given at night. Mm. The song says, "Them effing seagulls be catching 5 fishes at a time." Yeah, for real. Kyle says, "Crazy how these seabirds dive into the water for a fish." I forget their name. Seagulls are. Cop out says, "Seagulls are teething toms for real." Oh man. This bird right here is a rose-breasted grosbeak. Yeah, this had a lot of colors to it too. The male has the male is a black and white bird with a striking bright red triangle on its breast. The call is a squeak. Song is a series of whistled notes that sound like a robin in a hurry. Mm. The habitat is woods areas with mixed trees and shrubs. Nesting is a nest of twigs lined with grasses and horsehair placed in tree. They lay about 6 eggs, which are pale blue with irregular brown spots for about 14 days. Attracting grosbeaks are attracted to sunflower and hulled sunflower seeds scattered on the ground or in feeders. It's a tip about they come to bird baths for drinking and bathing too, and a tip about the red rose-breasted grosbeak is listen for its call, which sounds like a sneaker on a gym floor. Oh man, that sound is real annoying. Yeah, Lasan says all these feathers our ancestors wore, they are all beautiful. Yeah. Let's see something else. Okay, we got coming up to some more woodpeckers. So this is a downy woodpecker. Says the male has white spots on black wings, white belly on and back, red on back of head, distinguished from similar hairy woodpecker by its bill, which is about half as long as its head. The voice is a high-pitched teak call, and a call that sounds like the whiny of a miniature horse. The habitat is woods, farmland, suburbs. The nesting is they excavate a nest cavity in dead wood. They lay about 5 eggs, which are white, for about 21 days, especially attracted to suet feeders, but may also feed on whole sunflower seed. And downy woodpeckers are usually seen hitching up tree trunks, may drum on resonant surfaces in spring as part of courtship. This right here is another woodpecker. This is a beautiful woodpecker here. Red-headed woodpecker. So this woodpecker really look like Woody Woodpecker, the character. Only woodpecker with an all red head, body and wings boldly patterned with black and white. Juvenile plumage is similar, but with a brown head and back. This plumage is kept until midwinter. The voices of call is a loud, clear drumming on resonant surfaces is in soft, short bursts. The habitat of a red-headed woodpecker is farms, woods, and suburbs. Nesting is excavates nest hole in tree or telephone pole. May also use birdhouse. They lay about 5 eggs, which are white for about 13 days. Comes to suet at feeders. A tip about the red-headed woodpecker is that in addition to pecking in wood, they may also catch insects in the air and forage on the ground. Or is it? Yeah, I didn't know that. The birdhouse for them are usually a hole has to be 1 3/4 and 2 to 3/4 inches in diameter and 10 to 14 inches above floor. The floor has to be 5 by 5 inches. Yeah, it's another woodpecker here, right here. But it's the yeah, cop. I stop. My bad, by that family. This phone acting up. I mistaken. Deleted your comment by mistake, bro. I didn't mean that. The phone just acting up a little bit, so I was pressing something. Made a mistake, deleted it. But yeah, this is the male. This is red bellied woodpecker. This is the female red bellied woodpecker. Let's see, black and white bars on wings and back and tail, back of neck, red head and belly tan. The female has a red patch only on back of neck. The male has a red patch that extends to the forehead. The voices are called as a harsh chirr or a double chive, like I said, chive, drumming on resonant surfaces is in short bursts, only 1 second long. The habitat is woodlands, parks, and suburbs. The nesting excavates nests in living tree may use birdhouse. They lay about 8 eggs, which are white for about 14 days. Attracting for a red-bellied woodpecker is readily cut feeders to get suet, fruit, or seeds, especially whole sunflower seed. A tip about the red-bellied woodpecker is that the loud chirr or chive call in a good way is a good way to locate this woodpecker. Okay. Let me see this heavy woodpecker right here. The male has white spots on black wings, white belly and back. Red on back of head, distinguished from similar downy woodpecker by its bill, which is almost as long as its head. The voice is a cheek call and a wiki call given in courtship. Their habitat is on woods, farmland, and suburbs. Excavates a nest cavity in live wood. Yeah, they lay about 6 eggs, which are white, for about, 12 days. Especially attracted to suet feeders, but may also feed on hulled sunflower seed or sunflower chips. Let's see, a tip about the hairy woodpecker is less common than downy woodpecker. Also drums on resonant surfaces in spring as part of courtship. Oh, cool, okay. This bird right here is this is another woodpecker, but this is let me see, a pileated woodpecker. Very large woodpecker as big as a crow, mostly black with a large red crest, white stripe down the neck. The female has a black line off base of bill. The male has a red line off base of bill. The voice gives long volleys of loud cut calls, drumming on resonant surfaces in spring. Is usually soft and trails off at the end. The habitat is mature forests in rural or suburban areas. And the nesting is a nest cavity as excavated in dead wood. They lay about 5 eggs, which are white, for about 16 days. Attracting in some locations, these woodpeckers come to suet feeders. In other areas, they are more shy of humans. A tip about the pileated woodpecker is that this very large woodpecker excavates huge gashes in trees as it looks for ants. Carpenter ants. See, this is a chickadee bird here, but this is a black cap chickadee. Oh, you said the scraps on the woodpecker is fire. Cardwood, yeah. Let me see that. The phenotype for a black cap chickadee is black cap and bib, white cheek, gray back, variable buff on sides. Best told from similar Carolina chickadee by range and song. Shout out to Carolina. Voice, 2 whistle notes, the first higher than the second, like Phoebe. Calls include to seat, and they actually got a call that says chickadee, literally. The habitat is woods, farmland, suburbs. The nesting for black cap chickadee nesting tree hole or bird house includes moss. They lay about 8 eggs, which are white, for about 12 days. Attracting preferred sunflower seed and suet and above ground feeders. And they come to bird baths for drinking and bathing too. A tip about the black cap chickadee is that in winter, chickadees stay in small flocks that defend the territory against other chickadees. And the bird house that they usually can live in, rather, is it has to have 1 1/8 and 1.5 inches in diameter and 6 to 7 inches above floor. The floor has to be 4 by 4 inches. Yeah, a lot of these small birds are cute too. Oh, here go another chickadee. This is the Carolina chickadee. Black cap and bib, white cheek, gray back, variable buff on sides. Best distinguished from similar black cap chickadee by range and song. The voice of a Carolina chickadee is a song is a 4 notes, the first and third higher than the others, like Phoebe, Phoebe. The habitat is woods, farmland, and suburbs. The nesting for a Carolina chickadee is the nesting tree, hole, or birdhouse includes moss. They lay about 8 eggs that are white with speckles for about 12 days. And the attractant for them is they prefer sunflower seed and suet and above ground feeders. They also come to bird baths for drinking and bathing. Their birdhouse hole has to be 1 1/8 by 1.5 inches in diameter and 6 to 7 inches above floor. The floor has to be 4 by 4 inches. A tip about the Carolina chickadee is that in spring, chickadee winter flocks break up into mated pairs, which defend separate breeding territories. Okay, this bird right here, it's a real interesting looking bird. It's a tufted titmouse. I've never heard this bird before at all. A titmouse, Titmouse. A small crested bird, gray above, white below, buffy sides, black crested form, lives in Texas. The voices of song is a down-slur whistle like Peter, Peter, Peter. Calls include a scolding, jwee, jwee, jwee. The habitat is woods and suburbs. Nesting is a nest of moss, hair, and leaves placed in natural cavity or birdhouse. They lay about 8 eggs that are white with small brown dots for 14 days. Attracting for a tufted titmouse is they come to sunflower seed and peanuts, and above ground feeders also comes to suet. And the birdhouse hole for them will have to be 1 3/8 and 1.5 inches in diameter for 6 to 7 inches above floor. The floor has to be 4 by 4 inches. Yeah, and they come to bird baths for drinking and bathing too. And a tip about these birds are that in the fall and winter, are usually in small family groups of 6 birds, sometimes 4. This bird right here is a red-breasted nuthatch. You see the dark crown and nape white face, black eyes striped, rusted colored breast. The male has a black cap and a richly colored underpants. The female has gray cap and lightly colored underparts. The voice is a common call is a nasal. This word is Nyeep, and they do this triple times when they do the call. And their habitat is usually the woods. The nesting for these birds are nest of roulettes, grass and moss placed in excavated hole, birdhouse, or natural cavity. They usually lay about 7 eggs that are white or slightly pink with brown spots for about 12 days. Yeah, they prefer sunflower seed and suet feeders. And the birdhouse for these birds are usually the hole has to be 1 1/8 and 1.5 inches in diameter and 6 to 7 inches above floor. The floor has to be 4 by 4 inches. Nuthatches are Nuthatches are only birds that climb head first down tree trunks. This species is seen mostly in winter. Okay. This is another nuthatch right here, but this is the white-breasted nuthatch. Dark crown, innate white face, gray back. In general, the crown is black on males and gray on females. The voice is a common call is a nasal ankh, given singly when the birds are calmly feeding or in a rapid series when they are disturbed. Yeah, their population is the woods. The nesting for these birds are a nest of twigs, bark, and fur placed in natural cavity or bird house. They lay about 10 eggs that are white with dark marks for about 12 or 14 days. They prefer sunflower seed and suet mixtures. Okay. Nuthatches are our only birds that can climb headfirst down tree trunks. Yeah, that's crazy, man. Damn. Just thinking about that. And the hole for these birds and a birdhouse for these birds will have to be 1/8 and 1.5 inches in diameter and 6 to 7 inches above floor. The floor has to be 4 by 4 inches. Okay, this I love this bird right here, how they look. American goldfinch. Okay, in the winter, they have a grayish or brownish with only a hint of yellow on face and body, black wings and tail. The voice is a call that is looks like it says perchicori. I can imagine that's a weird sound. They do this at least like 2 times. The habitat for the American goldfinch is open areas with shrubs and trees, farms, suburban yards, gardens. The nesting is a nest of weed bark fastened with caterpillar webbing placed in shrub or tree. They lay about 7 eggs that are light blue for 14 days. Attracting prefers thistle or hulled sunflower seed and hanging feeders. They also come to bird baths for drinking and bathing. And a tip about the American goldfinch is that they can look like different birds in summer because they change from mostly grayish brown to yellow. Yeah, it's interesting there. Yeah, this bird I never heard of right here. Oh yeah, y'all see that Aboriginal TV, which is Chief Ether. I see he's live. Yeah, I got a few more pages to read, and this bird right here is called dark-eyed junco. The name is Junco. I never heard of this bird before, and this bird is a dark gray to brownish gray with a white belly and pale bill. The voices or calls include to sip and zeet. Song is a short trill. The habitat is summers in woods, bogs, mountains above tree level, winters in wood edges, brush and suburban yards. The nesting for these birds is a cup-like nest of grasses or moss placed in depression and ground near tall vegetation. Yeah, they usually lay about 6 eggs that are gray or pale bluish with dark blotches. They do this for about 13 days. Attracting for these birds prefers seeds scattered on the ground such as millet, cracked corn, or whole sunflower. And they use brush piles for daytime safety and nighttime roosting. A tip of the dark-eyed junco is that one of the most common winter visitors at suburban and rural feeders, usually in flocks. Yeah, it's interesting there. Let's see. Okay, this bird right here is an eastern phoebe. That's a nice name, man. I like the name Phoebe anyway. But it sounds nice with the word eastern. Gray brown above, whitish below. It said noticeably bobs its tail whenever perched. The song is a hoarse rendition of its name, like Phoebe Call's chirp. Oh, that's wild, man. Yeah, the habitat, the eastern phoebes are in woods, the farmlands, and suburbs. The nesting for these birds are a nest in a mounded cup of mud and moss placed on ledge or under bridge. They lay about 5 eggs, which are white for 16 days. Attracting for these birds are placing a small wooden ledge under the eave of a house or shed may attract a phoebe to nest. They use the same nest site year after year and build on top of the old nest. And the tip of the eastern phoebe bird is that they're often in nests on perch ledges or under bridges, one of the earliest arrivals in spring. Okay, this bird right here is sanderling, the sanderling bird, which is a bird I never heard of. In the summer, the upper parts are reddish to orange brown with darker brown streaking. The belly is white with black legs. In the winter, they are pale gray above, white below, black legs. Straight, relatively short for a short bird, for a shore bird. Bill, small black patch on shoulder, sometimes visible. The voices, our flight call is a quiet kip. The habitat for a sanderling bird is summers along Arctic tundra, winters along sandy coast. The nesting for these birds is a nest scraped depression on dry tundra. They lay about 4 eggs that are olive green with dark marks for about 31 days. A tip of the sanderling bird is that most often seen on the beach in winter, barely avoiding the edges of the waves as it feeds. Okay. Let me see, this bird right here is a gray catbird, all gray with a black cap. Also has a reddish brown patch under the base of its tail, but this is hard to see. Yeah, the voice of a gray catbird is for a song. Catbirds mimic the calls of other birds. So I didn't know this bird can do that too. But repeat each imitation only once, not 3 times, like the mockingbird. Common call is a cat-like meow. That's crazy. Done. See, the habitat for a gray catbird is shrubs, tangled thickets, wood edges, rural to suburban. The nesting for the gray catbird is a nest of twigs, leaves, and grapevine bark placed in shrub, vine, or small tree. Yeah, they lay about 6 eggs that are dark blue-green for 14 days. Attracting coastal feeders for suet seed and fruit. Planting shrubs at the edge of open areas to attract. And the tip about the catbird is they are named for their meow call, which is given at the slightest disturbance. So that's why they call it a catbird. Okay. Yes, and Kyle says that bird be confusing the hell out of some cats. That's crazy. I bet they do. Okay, this is a mockingbird. This is a northern mockingbird. Grayish above, whitish below, long tail. In flight, the northern mockingbird has bold white patches on its wings and white on its outer tail feathers. The voice they can make other birds' songs and calls repeating each 3 or more times. The habitat for northern mockingbird is open areas with shrubs, gardens, and parks. The nesting is a nest of twigs and leaves placed in a shrub. They lay about 6 eggs that are blue-green with brown marks. And this is for like 13 days. Attracting, they may come to feed us for fruits such as raisins. Planting shrubs with berries may attract the birds to nest in them in spring and eat from them all winter. So the tip of the northern mockingbird right here is that one of the few birds to sing in fall may also sing on moonlight nights from spring through fall. That is interesting. And you already know what bird this is, the pigeon, a bird we all seen. And this are variations of pigeons right here. And the phenotype for a pigeon is familiar to all. Exactly. The pigeon is familiar to all due to breeding by humans. It can range in color from all white to all black, with just about anything in between. The voices at nest sites such as above air conditioners, you hear Kt3 coo during courtship displays the male calls. It says Uruk to coo. We see the habitat for a pigeon is another thing they call a pigeon too is rock dove. I didn't know that. And the habitat for a pigeon is the cities, of course, parks, bridges, steep cliffs. The nesting is a saucer-like nest of roots, stems, and leaves placed on building ledge, rafter, or beam under bridge. Yeah, they usually lay about 2 eggs that are white for 18 days. And they come in the bird baths to drink. And pigeons also cover ledges with screening can prevent nesting on houses. Okay. The tip about the pigeons originally came from England. I didn't even know that. Where they nest on steep cliffs. That is why they love tall buildings and cities. Interesting to know. Oh, y'all see this bird right here? Let me I'm sorry to get a good look at this bird. Look how long the tail is, man. They call this scissor tail flycatcher. Yeah, it's a real exotic looking bird here. The silver-tailed flycatcher has a very long split tail, pale gray with pinkish wash on sides. The voices are called as a kit, and during display flights, a kakwi. The habitat for a scissor-tailed flycatcher is open areas with scattered trees. Nesting. Nest is a loose collection of soft, natural, and human-made materials placed on horizontal limb or telephone pole. They lay about 5 eggs that are white with dark marks for about 15 days. A tip of the scissor-tail flycatcher is that common in Texas, often seen perched on wire fences or telephone lines. Let me see this bird right here. This is greater yellow legs. It's called yellow leg. And see the greater yellow legs has a long yellow to orange legs, long, thin, dark bill, whitish marks on dark upper parts, lighter upper parts. The lesser yellow legs is yellow. It's very similar but smaller and with a proportionately shorter bill. The voice's call is a descending series of 3 to 4 notes like 2 2 2. Yellow legs has a 2 note call 2 2. And the habitat for a greater yellow leg is summers on subarctic forests, bogs, winters on coastal marshes, beaches. The nesting for a greater yellow leg is a depression in the ground. They lay about 4 eggs, buff with dark marks for about 23 days. And the tip about these birds are that seen mostly from late summer through winter. Look for their long, bright yellow legs. Yeah, this bird right here is called a willet. WILLET. Long, straight, rather heavy bill, long grayish legs. In the winter, plain gray-brown above, whitish below. In the summer, they have brown streaking on head and neck, brown barring on breast and flight. Note, distinctive bold white wing stripe on black wing. The willet has a call that includes a shrill peel willet and a kip. The habitat is summers on coastal marshes in east and prairie marshes in west. Winters on coastal marshes, beaches, mud flats. The nesting for a willet is a nest is a shallow scrape in ground lined with dry grass, placed in open area near water. They lay about 4 eggs that are olive with dark marks for about 29 days. And the tip of the willet is, they can be seen by most people in fall and winter along the coast where it feeds on beaches and in mud flats. Okay, this bird right here is called a common tern. TERN. Common tern. See, the phenotype for a common tern is long pointed wings, thin pointed orange red bill, black cap. Upper wings are gray with darker tips. The call includes a short kip and a harsh descending keer. Population is lakes and coast. And the nesting for a common tern is nesting colonies. Nest is a scrape in the ground. They lay about 3 eggs that are buffy with spots. And this goes on for about 27 days. A tip of the common tern is that you can often see them diving into water to catch small fish. Okay, well, here go another gull bird. This is this bird actually called a laughing gull. And the phenotype in the summer is black hood, dark red bill, white crescents above and below eye. Back and wings are dark gray. In the wintertime is similar, but head is white with grayish wash on the nape. Bill is black. The first year for them, they are gray. They have a gray back, gray breast, black bill, gray brown, half hood. It takes 3 years to reach adult plumage. Okay, the voice is a typical call, sounds like a high-pitched laugh. Literally, ha ha ha. That's crazy. The habitat for a laughing gull is a coastal, may wander slightly inland. The nesting for these birds are nest in colonies. Nest is made of grasses and sedges. Placed on ground, they lay about 4 eggs that are brownish with dark marks. And A tip about the laughing gull is that their laugh-like call is a good way to identify these birds. They sometimes feed on aerial insects. This another heron bird right here, but it's a tricolored heron. The phenotype is dark blue gray heron with white belly, white underwings, seen in flight. The voice is a high-pitched ah given during aggression. The habitat is marshes, shores, mud flats, tidal creeks. Nesting is nesting large colonies, often with other herons. Platform nest of sticks lined with other vegetation placed in tree or shrub. And they usually lay about 7 eggs that are pale bluish green for about 25 days. So a tip of the tricolored herons is that its very long bill and white belly are the best ways to tell this from other grayish herons. Okay, this is another heron bird right here. Is the little blue heron. Adult, dark overall, purplish head, blue-gray body and wings. Bill two-tone blue-gray at the base with a darker tip. And in the immature state, which is baby state, of course, is all white. The voice gives a low pitch R during aggressive encounters. The habitat is swamps, inland marshes, and coastal areas. The nesting for a little blue heron is they nest all around, often with other heron species. Nest of sticks and twigs placed in tree or shrub. They lay about 5 eggs that are pale bluish green for 24 days. A tip about the little blue heron is that you can watch them dive down from the air to catch small fish, which they carry back to the young. Okay, so that's another bird that does that. And the last bird in this book is a great blue heron. They're very tall, grayish blue body, white head, black stripe over eye. The voice for a great blue heron is when competing with other herons, it may give a guttural, frank, or short rock. The habitat for a great blue heron is marshes, swamps, river, and lake edges. Tidal flats, mangroves, other areas are where they be at. And the nesting for a great blue heron is it nests in small colonies or singly nest in a large platform of sticks lined with other vegetation placed in dead tree, often over water. They lay about 7 eggs that are pale bluish green for 28 days. And a tip about the great blue heron is that the largest and most widespread heron, it is usually seen feeding, often for a crane. Oh man, so they're almost like or possibly, the size of a crane. Y'all know how big cranes are. And that is the 126th page of and the last bird that is described in this book right here, The Beginner's Guide to Birds by Donald and Lillian Stokes. And I put Guide to Birds, just in the title of my video, just to get to the point as far as what I was talking about. Yeah, and I really enjoyed this book too. So that's the end of this bird series, and Appreciate everybody for coming to this chat. Appreciate y'all, man. Love to y'all, man. And yeah, much love to Saponi Catawba Sioux and Aztecs, my boy Neppy. Shout out to Kerry Bay. Shout out to Lasan, aka Copper Fox. Shout out to Lorray One. Salute to my dude Mixes. What's good, bro? Yeah, salute to Copper Hot Step. Salute to Kerry Bay. Salute to Star Strike. Yeah, salute to Origin One. Yeah, salute to my dude Ghost. And salute to Kiowa. Kichiwa, bro. Yeah, peace to you too, Kiowa. Peace, man. I appreciate all y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? Mad love to all y'all. Man. Yeah, salute to the Most High. Big up to the Most High, higher. Yeah, salute everybody that's doing it, man. You know what I'm saying? Doing their thing. Salute to my dude, Kerry Mayo, Dane Calloway, you know what I'm saying? People that's holding down Indigenous One, Chief Holiday. Yeah, shout out to Jazzy Zafat. Shout out to my sis, Alicia, Original American. Shout out to my other sis, Miss Mohawk Aboriginal. You know what I'm saying? Mad love to y'all. We'll take y'all out with some music again. Yeah, big up to the place we now call Virginia. Yeah, shout out to and much love to the Powhatan Nation, Powhatan people. Shout out to my dude, Our New Breed too. Big ups family. Let's take y'all out with this music, man. We're gonna just rock it out, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, much love to y'all. This is Brother Redbird. We're gonna rock it out with the music. We're gonna end this live stream with the music, y'all. Yeah, much love. Akichiwa, Akichiwa. High vibrations all day. Akichiwa. OCO. Yeah, much love and bliss to all, man. Man, feathers up. Feathers up, baby.